I read the Bible, cover to cover. It's long. It's got a lot of rules. It also has a lot of people wandering. The book of Exodus is about a group of people who walk and walk and walk. It takes them 40 years to travel 250 miles. At that speed, they would have missed the invention of the wheel. Moses walks into Pharaoh's palace. He says, "Let my people go." Pharaoh says, "No." God sends a plague. Pharaoh says, "Fine, go." God says, "Wait, let me harden his heart." Pharaoh says, "Actually, no." God sends another plague. Pharaoh says, "Fine, go." God hardens his heart. Again, Pharaoh says, "Never mind." This happens 10 times. At some point, I think Pharaoh was just waiting for God to make up his mind. Then God kills all the firstborn. Pharaoh says, Okay, fine. Get out." Moses leaves. Then Pharaoh changes his mind. Again. Not because he's an idiot, but because God hardened his heart again. I think Pharaoh just wanted to go to bed without God messing with his brain. The Israelites reach the Red Sea. Moses says, "Hang on, let me check with management." God tells Moses to split the sea. Moses says, "Okay." The Israelites walk through. Pharaoh's army follows. God drowns them. All of them. And somehow, Pharaoh never saw it coming. Even though he just watched God destroy his entire country. The Israelites are free. They celebrate. Then they get hungry. God sends manna from heaven. A miracle. Except, it expires after 24 hours. Like God invented divine DoorDash, but forgot a refrigeration system. Except on Saturdays. Then it stays fresh. But if you pick up too much, God gets mad. If you pick up too little, you still have enough. It's like God invented quantum bread. Moses goes up a mountain. He's gone for 40 days. The Israelites get bored, so they make a golden calf. They just watch God drown an army. They saw him rain fire, frogs, and blood. And somehow, they decide, you know what, we need a gold cow. Aaron, the guy in charge, builds it. Moses comes back and says, "What the hell is this?" Aaron says, "I threw the gold in the fire, and out came this calf, like a magic vending machine." Moses smashes the 10 commandments. God makes him rewrite them, because apparently, God doesn't do duplicates. God says, "I have given you the promised land." The Israelites walk to it. They send spies. The spies say, there are people there. God gets mad, says, "Fine, you don't get to enter." Makes them wander in circles for 40 years. I guess divine punishment includes walking aimlessly in the desert until everyone dies. I checked the map. It's 250 miles from Egypt to Canaan. At 3 miles per hour, they should have been there in 11 days. God kept them walking for 14,600 days. They didn't need faith. They needed a compass. Moses leads them for 40 years. He puts up with constant complaining. He argues with God. He gets the Israelites all the way to the border. Then God says, "Hey, remember that time you hit a rock instead of talking to it?" Moses says, "Yeah." God says, "Yeah, you can't go in now." Moses dies. Joshua takes over. The Israelites go in. Joshua tells them to kill everyone already living there. Apparently, the promised land wasn't empty, which makes you wonder if it was already occupied. Who exactly was it promised to? So let's review. 1. God forces Pharaoh to say no. 2. Punishes Pharaoh for saying no. 3. Kills a bunch of people. 4. Leads the Israelites in circles for 40 years. 5. Kills Moses over a rock. 6. Tells the Israelites to go commit genocide. And this is considered a story of divine justice and love. If you read it as a comedy, it makes way more sense. If you read it literally, you have to believe that God is a temperamental tour guide with an obsession for elaborate punishments, and that Moses was just a really exhausted customer service rep. That's Exodus, a book about walking, whining, and war crimes. And they say the Bible isn't funny.